Hello, this is Joe Johnson. I'm going to be planting a couple of mulberry trees. Wanted to show you all what I'm doing as we start developing this yard. Shared with you before, we have about 1/3 of an acre, maybe 1/4 of an acre that we could actually use for planting. And we're going to be doing some permaculture stuff on it. I'm doing a lot of work with Agriscaping Technologies, and they're helping me to understand some of what I can do. I wanted to show what's happening, show the progress, show what I'm learning. Show how I'm doing things. You can see in my yard here we have a pecan tree over here. Well, I guess I better aim this up a little higher so you guys can see. Pecan tree over here. You can see that I'm growing a nice crop of weeds around it. Amaranth just goes crazy here. Monsoon season. Here's another one on this side, and my trailer there, which is for sale if anyone's interested. And right here I'm going to plant 2 mulberries. You can see right here, I've had this pile of stuff here sitting for a long time. It's been sitting there for a few years actually, as we rake stuff up and just try to get it to compost in place. And you can see I'm developing a nice microbial base here. You see the mycelium and stuff going on there. I got some life in the soil there that's really nice. I'll actually dig some of that and move it over to this one. You can see the rings too. I'm doing this so that I can have a little planter around the tray. I'm figuring a 2-foot diameter for the trunk. No, I'm not planting a 2-foot diameter trunk now, but these are mulberries. They're going to grow. They do really well here in Arizona, and I expect them to get big and tall and offer me some good shade. This is the west side of the house, and as you can see, it's kind of close to the edge of the property, so it should give us some nice shade on this side of the property and help build a microclimate. I'm bringing it out a total of 6-foot diameter here. That allows for the trunk to grow and then still gives me a couple feet for a planter around it. Obviously not necessary, it's just the way I want to do things. And then the other line that you can see drawn here allows for a 2-foot path. I won't be making that right now, I just wanted to see what it would look like. We're going to do that around all 4 of these trees. It's going to be a kind of a keyhole design. We'll put a mound on the outside of that, and it'll all be interlinked and have paths and whatnot, and we'll set up our watering system to utilize all that for maximum benefit. But for now, this will do. I'm just going to do the well within that 3-foot circle, so it'll get some good watering going. I'm going to dig it out right now, probably about 3-foot diameter where that stick is, where the tree's actually going. And I'll dig that down a couple feet deep so I can get the soil amended for the tree. As I shared with you before, I get this great compost from Jay. We're selling that locally now, so if anyone wants to buy some of that, this particular compost is made specifically for trees, so it's designed just for that. We have another one for gardens too. We don't carry that, keep that laying around because of the life in it. You got to keep it living. So we only get that as we need it. So we'll just have a little bit on hand once in a while. We're still working out the details. But for now, you need to know about it, and you can contact us if you want some. If you're not in Arizona, unless you want to make a long drive, that's tough luck. But we can get it for you in the Mesa area, and eventually we'll have it up here in the Safford area. So that's what I have going on. I'll show you progress as it goes. I just wanted to show you the before, and then we'll give you a shot of at least one of the during and then an after. Okay, I've got a little bit of work done on this first one. Haven't done anything on the other one. See how well my back holds out. Actually, it's not too bad. The ground is pretty broken up here. It's kind of crumbly. Not as bad as over by the Sonoran planter was. If you're wondering why I'm not doing it like I did over there, remember, if you watch the Sonoran planter videos, remember I was trying to harvest water there as well. It's a huge issue over in that part of the property because the water would bank up against the garage. Here I'm just trying to make sure that I have healthy soil and a place for the water to stay, but I'm not really trying to harvest it like I was over there, and this will be part of a bigger system. That's just one planter all by itself, and I was trying to experiment with some ideas. I'll actually use those ideas here, but I'll use them out in the pathway. That'll be way out here in between the 2 planters. So you got the one tree here and the one tree here, and then right in between there'll be a path, and there'll be a mound on either side. And where this central path goes, I will dig deep. I will try to infiltrate the organic matter and the moisture down deep there, and that will hopefully help the roots to grow deeper and reach out more down deep into the soil, so that they have a stronger root base. But for here, this is a small tree. For now, I just need to get it established. I have a good watering spot for it. This is a 6-foot diameter well, so that's plenty of size. I'll actually have a smaller well within it. Remember, the outer 2 feet of that all the way around will be a planter. Eventually, where that the mound is around it for the well, that'll be gone. There'll be a path there. But for now, I'm just concentrating on getting these trees in and getting them established. So that's why you see what you see here. So, well, we're getting a little bit of rumbling up on the mountain here. Maybe we'll get a little rain, but it's not looking too bad. You can see up here, Mount Graham. Nice clouds. It was really rumbling earlier. They're kind of coming over, getting a few drops, but it doesn't really look like it's going to do much. You never know though. All of a sudden it can build up. Well, my caliche was a little deeper than I had anticipated. So I was starting to get a little worried, wondering if this was going to be one of those escapades where you dig down 4 feet before you find sand. Because I really want to give my roots a chance. If you bind them in the caliche, they can get root bound, they can get waterlogged, you can get some problems if they don't at least start tapping through it. So I got down, I don't know, it might have been 16 inches down, and just decided I was going to punch some holes in it here and there to give the roots some place to tap into. The theory is, I don't know if anyone's ever dug one up to make sure it worked, but the theory is that if you give corners for the roots to get into, then they'll tap into those corners and they'll keep going. But if you leave it round and neat and smooth, that it just hardens and the roots will start going in a circle, kind of like they do in a pot. I don't know if it works or not, but I figured I'd give them a chance. So you can see right down in this corner here where I kind of went in an angle, and I did that all the way around. And then I was doing it in the middle too, and as I did that, the bottom crumbled, fell apart, and as you can see on top there, I started finding some sand. So I'm down into the sand, I'm happy. So what I'll do now, you can see I have the 2 wells going. What I'll do now is I'll take my compost here and I will put it in there and mix it up, get a good 50-50 match, and then I'll soak it really good. Just let it sit, let the microorganisms in the soil develop more, start to pull some of the nutrients out of that soil, get things ready for planting the tree. I won't do it right away. I don't know if I'm going to get the other hole dug today. I might. Still have some time, but I also have a weed garden over there that is demanding my attention, as you can see. And the faithful canine laying there guarding them. So we'll see what happens next. But I wanted to show this to you, let you see what I'm doing. I'll show another clip here shortly as I get the soil mixed and start watering, and then we'll be back when I plant the tree, probably later this week. I don't know when exactly, but I want to give this stuff time to really get saturated. And around here we have watering days, and tomorrow is a watering day, so you can bet that quite a few gallons will go in this hole. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you later. Okay, I got the compost in, got it mixed up. Actually grabbed some of the composted soil that's been sitting here for so long. You can see I dug that up. It's just beautiful. Nice, lush, soft stuff. So I mixed some of that in there as well, so hopefully getting a little more bang for my buck. And what I'm going to do is I'll pull some of the native soil on top of that and leave a little indentation right in the middle, and I'll let the hose run there for who knows how long. I just want to make sure it's good and saturated. Let it fill up inside there and let it sit for a few days, and we'll get the mulberry planted. Anyway, that's kind of a before and after, and hopefully I'll have both of these looking good for you here in a couple of days, and we can get the trees in. Okay, just wanted to show you after watering. I let this run for, I don't know, an hour or so. Let it fill up really good, and you can see that it got into the well. Up to me to check the level of my well too. It wasn't very level when I got done. And you can see it's still filling up on this other one. I went ahead and got it dug out, and the side blew out, helped me to check the level in this one as well. And this one's been running longer, but I ran it slower too. So and the soil is just so awesome that I found underneath this pile. Just kind of looks normal there, but you dig into it and you can just see the different color come out. It gets darker and it feels so cool to the touch. It's awesome. So I threw a bunch of that in there, and I'll probably throw a bunch of that back on the other one so I can make good use of it, unless I decide to plant something else out here that I haven't thought of yet. Oop, sorry, bad video. Got to talk to the cameraman about that. So anyway, wanted to show you that. I will be planting in a few days, like I said, and I'll get that attached to this video as well. Thanks for watching. Okay, here we are getting ready to plant the mulberries now. As you remember, I mounded the dirt up. I wouldn't normally necessarily do it like this, but since I had some time to let the soil sit and mature a little bit, I went ahead and mounded up the dirt around where I want my hole to be, covered up with chips, and just let it soak a couple of times so that the nutrients could get into the soil a little bit more. And now when I dig my hole for the tray, I won't dig it as big. I've already done that. Instead, I'll just make it big enough for the pot itself, and it'll be loose enough around it. It'll have the good nutrients around it and for those roots to really dig in. When you're doing this, one thing that Jay likes to point out is you're giving the tree a couple of years basically to build a good root system. If you don't do this and you just dig the hole big enough for your tree, then you're making it fight with these little tiny roots to try to get into that hard soil. Pretty tough to do. So you're giving it all these nutrients, you're giving it the ability to grow. Hopefully you're tapping it down into the sand, or where there's the ability for the roots to really get going. And of course, if you make your hole big enough, then the roots are getting bigger and they're maturing more, and they can penetrate the harder soil more readily. So here you can see I've prepared this. When I pulled the mound back, I took the wood chips off and put them over here in this bucket that a storm actually gave to me. They just rolled into my yard one time when we had one of our big storms. I tried to get it centered. You see it's not centered in the pot, so I'm trying to get it centered in that hole pretty well. I think I'm pretty close here. You know, it's not rocket science. So I've pulled this back. I put some of the good soil in that pot so I can get it back in here. And I have my wood chips waiting, and I have more wood chips waiting over here so that I can get those in there to cover it. I have some purslane here that was actually given to me, and I'm going to put that, you know, in part of the outside area around the tree. Remember, for this particular design for me, this outer ring represents the outside of a planter. So I'll have the tree in the middle, then I'll have a ring around it for now as the tree grows, but eventually that outer ring, I'll have a little planter all the way around the tree where I'll be growing some type of produce. I don't know what. I'll be doing that with all our trees, at least the big ones on the property, just as part of like a keyhole design to use space, that type of thing. So it isn't necessary to do everything that I did here. You just, as long as you get that pulled back, as long as you get the good nutrients in the ground, and give your tree something to work with, and you have a well around it to hold the water and try to get that water to really seep into the roots, you're in good shape. So I'm going to go ahead and get this planted, and then I'll come back with another video and wrap this up. Now you can see that the tree's planted. It's mounded so that's about even with the surrounding ground around the outside of the bigger well. You just don't want the water to sit next to the base. It's not good for it. Get some rot and stuff like that going. But you want it to go into the soil close by, so you do this well around it, and you can get that water to soak in and get to the roots really well. Sorry, I'm huffing and puffing. Probably should have taken a break before I started filming. I probably should be in better shape actually, then I wouldn't be huffing and puffing so much. So there you have it. I will throw some wood chips in there and start watering this one. It's pretty much ready to go, and I'll start on the other one. Here we go, final product, at least for now. We have this side the volunteer that I got from a friend over at Oleo Ranch, and I don't know what kind this is, so we're gonna call it the Arizona mulberry, because we all know that mulberries are indigenous to Arizona. You see I got a little purslane there, just a little piece. I'm hoping that'll grow around the circle there. My inner well, I filled it with wood chips. You'll notice that the wood chips are up to the base. That's frowned upon in a lot of places. They'll say that it'll rot the tree down there because it'll keep it wet. But this is Arizona, and that's just not really an issue. Obviously you don't want to pile your dirt up around, but when you have your wood chips up around there, it just helps keep the moisture in. It doesn't keep it wet though. It doesn't cause any rot, and a lot of people just do it without any problems. So I went ahead and piled up the wood chips up there right up against the tree. And again, you can see the purslane here with the nice little sign, so we know what it is, or at least somebody does. And that's it. We have the 2 mulberries planted. Oh, this is the Pakistan, or is it Pakistani? This one is supposed to be self-pollinating, so I'm looking forward to seeing what that does. The other one, she thought it was a female. We'll see, but I'm really not worried about it, because if it's not, then I get to try my hand at grafting. That should be fun. So that's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.